It's called stress urinary incontinence. So from a young age, well, for my whole life, when I sneeze, it sounds like a 250-pound man sneeze. And if you can imagine a little skinny kid at the age of 12 doing it, well, it's continued my whole life to past 50. And as I got past 50, instead of just a big sneeze that scares the heck out of everyone, I would actually go pee. And I would cross my legs and I would tighten my cankles, and sometimes I didn't make it.
Wow.
Sometimes I wet my pants. And I discussed it with my mom, and my mom's a nurse. And she said, honey, here are mini pads. Just put the little panty liners in. It's a fact of life. It runs in the family. It even happens if you cough too hard or laugh. And I'm like, oh, there's got to be a better way. So I've avoided panty liners, but changed my panties one too many times. And during COVID, the pollen was up so much, I was sneezing all the time, and pulled out the panty liners and put them in. But my sneezes scare people. They literally blow the roof off, and it's not so fun. So started the patches, and still the sinuses and the pollen kept praying for rain and knocked the pollen down. And then lo and behold, I realized I don't seem to be having, too many oopses anymore. I'm either catching it or I'm okay. So that's pretty cool. And about day 12 on the patches, and it was X39, I was laying in bed. It's 2:00 in the morning, and then all of a sudden I sneezed. And the good news was I was totally relaxed. And then all I did was roll over. And the next morning I went, oh, I'm better. I'm fixed.
Okay, let me understand that. So you're literally, like, your whole life, you sneeze and urine comes out, like a lot, a little, like, is it just
it's a little dribble, but it really didn't become a big deal until the 50s. And my mom said, every woman, all my aunts, it just was part of life, and just to get used to it. And then I was asking some of my friends who are my age and older, and they go, oh yeah, it happens to me too. So I had no idea it was so common. And it took me a little while to decide to confess this, because nobody wants to say they wet their britches. Babies, surgery, there's a whole list of things that happen. And to my surprise, it also happens to men, especially if they've had prostate issues or any bladder issues. I didn't think it was a man thing, because I kind of took an inquiry, and they said, no, it doesn't happen to us. And went online and found out, yeah, it does.
Wow.
It can happen when you're having sex, when you're vomiting, being sick.
Wow.
If you stand up too fast, or you don't get to the bathroom fast enough as you're pulling down your britches, it's very embarrassing. And if it wasn't for good old-fashioned paper towels in bathrooms, sometimes it would be very embarrassing. That's when I noticed it. I've now been on the X39 almost 7 weeks, but at the 2-week mark, 14 or 15 days into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can make the toilet in time. I can sneeze, I can laugh, I can, mostly the sneezing, because I sneeze a lot.